Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play the entirety of this video without any interruptions, and then I'll go back and talk about things that are going on to better explain what's going on, and talk about things that I think that were done right and or done wrong. This particular video is from Buffalo, New York. There was no community briefing video that I could find through Buffalo Police. I checked their website, their Facebook, and tried to find a YouTube page for them. Did not locate anything. There were some news companies that had the footage out there of this, and so it looks like possibly what has happened is this agency, instead of creating a community briefing video, has just decided to release some redacted version of the video. And this is what it is. So there's no explanation on what's going on. I didn't even read an article into this. They're here on some type of call, and they encounter a guy with a knife. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot of background information, but we'll play it and then we'll get back into it.
What can we do for you? You okay? You okay?
No.
Okay.
So what happened? What's going on?
How can we make you okay?
You're alright. You got a knife in his pocket. Just so you know.
Yeah, knife in your pocket? Yeah, put that down. Put that down.
Yo, put that down, big dog.
Yo.
Yo, step outside, guys. Come outside.
Yeah, we'll go
Put
outside.
that down.
Let's go outside. Let's go outside. It's okay.
The gentleman who said he called, coming down the stairs,
Put the knife down.
Right now, you have a knife with you. Want more cars?
Bud, put the knife down. Right?
down, bro.
Put the knife down.
1945 hurdle.
Put it down.
What'd you say?
Going in, the guy's coming down with a knife.
Put it down.
Put it down, dude. There ain't no reason for it.
Huh?
Stop. Put it down.
Put it down.
Down.
Another truck in
Put
there.
it down.
Come on, man.
Put it down.
That 511?
We can help you with whatever you're going through, big dog. It ain't even no big deal.
Come on, buddy.
Put it down. Come on, let us help you. Put it down.
All you gotta do is put it down and let us help you out, brother.
Put it down. What's going on? There's something we can talk about. Let's talk about it. Put the knife down. Let's talk. Stop! Now!
541 radio, we're retreating. Still coming forward.
Here, move.
Still coming forward with the knife.
Put it down.
Dude, just put
Okay.
the knife down,
Put the
man.
knife down.
We don't want
charging officers backing
All you gotta do is just put the knife down.
Stop.
He's charging.
Stop.
Not
They're backing
like
up.
this.
Yo, man.
Please.
Put it down.
brother.
Put the knife
Put it
down.
down.
Put it down.
Put it down, dude. Whatever you're going through, it ain't worth it, dog.
Just talk to us,
Put
man.
it down. We'll
Talk.
help you out.
Talk to us.
Guys, keep backing up. Keep
Come on.
backing up.
No, we don't want to do that.
Put it down.
Bro,
Put it down.
put it down, man. Yo, watch your crossbar, yo.
Yeah, come over here. Somebody put a light down.
Get ADI going with it.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Let's have a video.
Yo, slow cars! Slow cars! Slow cars!
Slow cars. Slow cars.
Stop! Bro, why, man? Why?
Yo.
Why?
Step up. Video.
All right, keep the knife.
Suspect is down.
You get in the back of the car now. Back of the car.
Go.
That's for the radio. No officers injured. Alright, EDI's notified to step it up. They're on the way.
Go in the back of my car.
Here, calm
Go in
down,
the back
bud.
of This one. Sit in the car
All
right
right.
now.
Mike, get in the car. Get in the car.
All right.
Get in the car.
You know,
Whoever's fired, get in the car. We
You're okay, bud. Here, get in the car.
All right.
Whoever fired.
So I decided to do a quick search on it. That way I know what the hell I'm talking about. Excuse me, my voice is a little out. Last night I had to yell at a lot of stupid people. So looking at this news article from the Buffalo News, updated on March 25th, 2022. Let me get back down to where it was. The person they're dealing with is Dominique Thomas, age 30, of Buffalo. He, at this time of their reporting, he remained hospitalized in Erie County Medical Center. Officers working the midnight shift out of the Northwest District, D District, were dispatched to a call about 4:30 a.m. Dispatchers told the officers that a caller said that someone was trying to kill them. The officers were going on a threat call. They did not go there with the advantage of knowing it was a mental health call, Grandma Glia said. About a week earlier, Thomas had called police and asked them to take him to ECMC for psychiatric treatment, police previously said. The video clip begins as two officers are seen at the bottom of the stairs in a multi-unit dwelling at 1945 Hertel Avenue. And then it just summarizes basically what you saw in the video. So this Grandma Glia, Joseph Grandma Glia, is the police commissioner. He said, they said it in a calm tone. Nobody was screaming at him. Nobody yelling. Grandma Glia, I don't know how to pronounce that. The commissioner, I'm going to say commissioner. The commissioner told reporters after the 3-minute, 44-second body cam video was distributed to the media. They tried everything they could. I don't know what you could have done differently. It appears he had one thing on his mind. So, yeah, it's pretty clear that this is a suicide by police type of ordeal. So it seems like this guy has some mental health issues, and that he has decided that the best thing for him to do is force the police into a position where they have no choice but to defend themselves and have to shoot him. That is the common suicide by police kind of thing. So, at one point, one of them notices that he has a knife in his pocket, and they verbalize that.
Yeah, knife in your pocket. Yeah, put that down.
All right, so he pulls it out, and they are acting all nonchalant. Like, oh, okay, yeah, put it down. None of them appear to take any type of defensive action. I can only imagine that this is possibly as a result of excessive and out of context de-escalation type of training. And what I mean by that is some places have put way too much emphasis on verbal de-escalation and not raising your voice. And they've put so much emphasis on it that it has come way out of context, and it fucking defies logic. Like, this is a point right here where this guy could very easily close the gap, especially with this first officer right here, the one closest to him. This dude could easily close the gap between them and start stabbing and slashing before this guy could ever get his damn gun out of his holster. When this happens, you see him pull his knife out, you don't hear the distinctive plastic clattering sound that you hear when a gun gets unholstered from a duty weapon. Safariland holsters are basically the standard for duty weapons. They're everywhere, and so it's very easy to tell when someone's unholstering their gun because they make a distinctive sound when you holster and unholster. They just make this plastic clanking kind of noise. It's kind of like a hollowish plastic sound. And you don't hear any guns unholstering right at this. Now, you do see them start to unholster at some point. But in this moment right here, none of them unholster. And I think that's a problem. This guy has now pulled out a deadly physical weapon. He is within 21 feet. That alone says that you should have lethal cover in the event this guy becomes an active threat. He's already a threat at this point by pulling a knife out. But the minute he starts to close the distance quickly in a rush, you got to have your gun out. You can't rely on, oh, I'll get it out in time, because you're not going to be able to get it out on time at all.
Put that down.
Yo, put that down, big dog.
Yo.
Yo, step outside, guys. Come outside.
All right, so that plastic sound you hear, that's now them deciding to unholster.
Put that down.
Let's go outside. It's okay.
Now, that's either a gun being unholstered or it's possibly a taser being unholstered. Some of the taser holsters can make a similar sound.
The gentleman who said he called. Coming down the stairs.
Put the knife down.
Right now, I have a knife received. Want more cars? Are you
Bud,
551?
put the knife down. Right?
Down, bro.
Put the knife down.
So, the commissioner had mentioned that no one was yelling or anything like that. So, if you've ever sat through some de-escalation training, one of the things that can be talked about is not yelling at people, because that can aggravate them or agitate them. This is where a lot of the de-escalation training starts to lose touch with reality. And mostly it's because the people who come up with this shit don't do this kind of work. They've never strapped the fucking gun belt on before and went out and dealt with crazy motherfuckers. Now, they may be a counselor of sorts or maybe some type of psychologist, and they get to deal with people in a completely different setting where they're not going to have to be in a position of detaining a person and doing something against their will that they don't want, charging them with some kind of crime. Like, counselors and stuff like that are not seen as the bad guys by the crazy people. So it's a whole totally different realm. And when you have these counselor type people creating these de-escalation training curriculum, they're only able to draw from their experiences from the clinical side in a treatment center, within a hospital. And what may work in a hospital does not work on the street, because it's two totally different things. People who do this shit on the street don't do this in a hospital, because they know no one in the hospital has a fucking gun and no one's going to fucking shoot their ass. So they don't grab a weapon and start walking at them with a weapon, because they know no one's going to shoot them. Out on the street, there's times you have to elevate your voice. You have to project that voice in an intimidating, aggressive type of manner to bring about a change of thought in that person. If you continue to talk softly and don't ever raise your voice, the person's not going to take you serious. You need to elevate your voice some. Similar to how a dog barks, right? So the talking loud stuff, yelling at them, that's posturing. right? It's still verbal command. It's still command presence. You're posturing at that point, right? You're trying to put it in their head that if they continue to do X, Y, Z, then this is going to happen. And what's going to happen is what they don't want to happen. Now, obviously, this guy is wanting to die, but he is not yet fully 100% committed in his decision yet. He's still timid. Yeah, he's walking towards them. He's not rushing them. He's not rushing them at all. He doesn't rush until the very end, until he's built up enough courage to do that. So for this whole, the video is about 3 minutes and 44 seconds long. So for basically the first 3 minutes almost, really, this guy is working up the courage to do what he wants to do. And this excessive de-escalation attempts has done nothing but to allow him to gain the confidence in committing to his decision. If they would have turned it up a notch, then I think there is a possibility that this could have ended earlier and without having to shoot him. Starting with verbal commands. So talking to him, they're trying to de-escalate him, but at some point you have to recognize de-escalation is not working. It's failing. And each situation is going to be different. So you can't say that at the 1 minute mark it's done with. It's a case by case basis. It's obvious. Like, this guy is continuing to walk towards them in a creepy fucking Michael Myers manner. He's walking towards them with this knife. At some point, especially after getting out the door like this, they have to recognize, okay, de-escalation is not working here. And you have to take it up a notch. Instead of talking all softly to him, start yelling at him. Maybe that yelling, that posturing, will make him think something different. I mean, can you imagine someone starting to yell at you in a very somewhat threatening way? It can alter your decision making. It can make you think, well, maybe I don't want to mess with that person. Now, like I said, in this context, he's wanting to die, so that might not have an effect on him. But the second part, using force against him, physical force, could have a change. So, physical force. He is continuing to come at them with a weapon. Yes, they can use deadly physical force in this instance. Does it mean they have to? Right now, no. They could still decide to deploy taser on him or deploy pepper spray at him. In this instance right here, where they got multiple officers, I think it's very plausible that they could have sprayed pepper spray at him, limited his ability to see and fight. The pepper spray causes involuntary eye closure, causes a sense of difficulty breathing. So by spraying him, he would not have likely been able to see where they were at to charge at them directly. One of them could have come in with a baton and striked his arm with it and knocked the knife out without him, being able to see them coming up. They could have deployed taser on him afterwards, or they could have deployed taser on him right from the get-go. Now, tasers, and pepper spray do have some failure rate. They're not 100% effective. So, obviously, you need a person providing lethal cover, aiming a gun at him while other people try these less lethal options. And I think that by trying to utilize that, they could have potentially avoided a shooting. Now, that's assuming they have tasers, which I don't know if they have tasers or not. We don't see any tasers, but just because we don't see any tasers doesn't mean they don't have any. Sometimes, in incidents like this, people completely forget to pull their tasers out for whatever reason. And that kind of goes back into more of a command and control kind of thing. So there's multiple officers there, but I cannot definitively tell whether or not there's a person who is in charge. They're all working together, obviously, but there's does not appear to be one person who stands out as the person who's in charge and making calls. When there's multiple people like this, someone has to take charge. Even if there's no one of rank there, ideally, you know, a sergeant or something like that, you would want in charge calling the shots. But even if there's not someone of rank there, there's usually at least going to be a senior officer, right? Like there's going to be someone who's got a few more years in than the other, someone who's probably designated as a field training officer, someone who, by that virtue right there, should be able to take the lead and tell the others, hey, you two provide lethal cover, you two go less lethal, you have a taser, you get pepper spray, etc. Like, designate functions for people and get the game plan going. Didn't see any of that. I did a video recently. It was LAPD Foothills, I think, officer-involved shooting. That one had a really good illustration of commanding the scene. And actually the officer in that LAPD video calls out on the radio that he's taken incident command. And so if you can go back, it's a couple videos before this one, if I remember correctly, and look at that one, and that gives you a good visual illustration of what taking control of the scene looks like. A person taking charge and designating these different functions to people. That's something I would like to see more of, but it's, when you think about training and schedules and stuff like that, it's not surprising to me that so many agencies don't take the time to do that kind of training, or at least to do reality-based scenarios where they have a bunch of officers together as a group and each one gets to train and practice on taking the lead role and delegating responsibilities to people and managing a scene. I think that if agencies and companies could do a little bit more of that, I think that there could be some improved outcomes on incidents like this, where one person takes charge and they start delegating tasks, and they quickly, while this is going on, come to the conclusion, hey, de-escalation is not working, it's not having any effect, let's abandon this bullshit fucking thought of continuing to do it, and let's just go hands-on. Because that is going to de-escalate the situation from escalating any further than what it has. If they would have started deploying tasers on this guy, pepper sprayed him as he became disorientated, came up and just knocked the fuck out of him with a baton or something, just rock his world, that could have de-escalated the whole situation from ever evolving to a deadly force type of scenario. So when people talk about de-escalation, they all seem to think that it all entails talking, verbal judo. It does not. Sometimes de-escalation can involve using physical force, knocking the fuck out of someone to get them to stop what they were doing, so it does not have to turn into a deadly force shooting. So they do pause the video itself and only play the audio, so we don't get to see, any of that. The aftermath of the shooting we do see, and one officer is visibly distraught. He is not happy with what has happened, and you can tell that he did not want to have to shoot this guy. This was not on his bucket list. And that's for all officers, right? Like, just because the other ones aren't acting like this doesn't mean they weren't thinking or feeling the same thing. No one wants to have to shoot someone, right? Like that, especially in today's time where officers are so heavily vilified and held under a prejudiced microscope. No one wants to be involved in a shooting, even if it's a clear-cut, closed book, open-closed book, black and white type of scenario. Like, there's no gray area whatsoever. It's 100% undeniably justified. Even for those. No one still wants to get involved in a shooting. And aside from, just that aspect of it, like, nobody, gets into this work and is like, yeah, I'm going to go out there and fucking shoot some people. Nobody has that fucking mindset. Nobody wants to do that shit. It's just your woke, rabid, liberal left idiots who think that shit. They think all police are just, foaming at the mouth to go shoot people. That is not the case at all. Nobody wants to get involved in this shit. But he is, like I said, he's visibly distraught, and he didn't want this to happen, just like the other ones didn't want this to happen. Not much else to say about this video. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.